We were actually not able to go into the screening, so because it was rated 15 and we're both 14. So, what I've heard is that we've got positive feedback. But what I've heard is that people are just like in shock about from the ending. I'm not going to say anything, just like for viewers that haven't seen it yet, which they should see it. But they were just like in shock and had so many questions.
Yeah.
So, you've had a history in horror. You yourself is a bit new for you. What was that like for you revisiting the genre and you learning from August in terms of his experiences? We'll go.
So it's been my dream to be a part of a horror film for as long as I can remember, because my mom is such a huge horror fan. So when I booked the role of Mariah, I was freaking out. So it was amazing being on set with everyone and just like having people with a lot of experience in horror in general, just to like teach me the ways of like how I should like act in general during a horror film.
So before Slapface, I worked on a horror film called The Nun. And that's when I fell in love with horror. Before that, I was really scared of horror movies and stuff. But when I was on The Nun, I saw them doing the makeup of the dead nuns, and I'm an artist, so I can appreciate that. I appreciated that, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, and I really wanted to work on another horror. And then I was actually offered the role by Jeremiah Kipp, the director, to play Lucas on Slapface, and I was like, of course I want to play this. I read the script, I'm like, this is so good, I want to play this.
And then obviously really heavy, deep themes in this film, themes of loss and bullying. Just from a personal level, how do you guys as actors connect to such really upsetting themes for young people like yourself? It's a prime time in life when people do experience bullying, and hopefully you don't experience loss at such a young age. How do you tap into that?
So how I connected to Mariah was that she struggles the battle between choosing popularity over true friendship, and that's a battle that a lot of teenagers these days deal with. They're like, should I be with the popular group? They're not necessarily my friends, but I'll be popular, or should I stick with my one true friend? He's not the most popular, so I wouldn't get invited to all the parties and all of this. But if I could tell Mariah some advice, I would always tell her to choose true friendship over popularity.
So before Slapface, I was in middle school, and in middle school sucks. So I had to deal with bullying myself. So I was able to actually use that for my character on Slapface, and that's how I did the bullying in the movie and how that was so real.
And then we've just had a chat off camera. Both of you have had experience on Disney shows. Yours is yet to come out. You were established in Girl Meets World. Just talk to me both about your experiences, because that's most kids' dream to work with, a global powerhouse like Disney.
My experience on Disney Channel was amazing. Everyone on set was so nice, so caring, and the atmosphere is just amazing there. It's so like what you expect with Disney. It's like bright, it's like colorful, and the energy is so amazing. The people I worked with were amazing, and I'm forever grateful for that role.
So I was very fortunate getting the role of Augie on Girl Meets World, because that was actually one of the first things that I got, and I was 5 years old signing a contract for Disney.
Crazy.
And I worked on that for a couple years, and when it was finished, I was like, I was doing comedy all those years, so I really wanted to try a different kind of genre. And when I got the audition for The Nun, I was like, should we do it? And we did it, and that's how I was cast in The Nun and fell in love with horror.
Just in terms of the horror films that you've seen, obviously you mentioned that unfortunately you weren't allowed to go into the screening last night, but I'm guessing your parents allow you to watch horror. Are there any of the first memories that you have of the genre, what developed the love of the genre, and any roles that you'd love to do in the future? If there's a reboot of a big franchise coming up you'd like to be involved in, state your claim now.
So my first experience with horror was, as I said previously, my mom is a huge horror fan, and she's always wanted like a horror buddy to like watch all of the films with. And so she snuck me into a screening of The Curse of La Llorona, and she told me it was going to be like a funny comedy, and it was not. She snuck me in there, but I developed my love for horror throughout that. So thank you, Mom, even though I probably was not allowed. I was very underage, but it was watching it, I was like, wow, this is so cool. And ever since then, it's been my dream to be a part of a horror film. And I think a franchise I would love to be a part of is probably the Conjuring universe. That would be very cool. And I would love to do a sister reboot, because I'm a twin, if you didn't know. So I think it'd be really cool just to like do that.
Awesome.
I would love to work on maybe Stranger Things, because it's also kind of a thriller drama, which is what I would also categorize Slapface under, a psychological drama. So, and honestly, I think that anyone who likes Stranger Things and likes monsters will love this movie, because it's got the monsters there from the very beginning, and they'll love it. It's the same genre, and I love both movies, so.
How long did it take for you to be able to get to sleep when you see Valak on set? That's what I want to know, because seeing it in the cinema, I think I watched it in this very cinema, The Nun, when it came out. I've seen all the Conjuring movies in the cinema, so seeing that figure on set, how long does it stay in your brain for?
The person who plays the nun, Bonnie Aarons, is the nicest person you will ever meet. It is like impossible to be scared of her. Even under all the makeup, we would like still joke around and stuff. She is the nicest person in the world. So I was able to watch the movie easily because I'm like, oh, that's Bonnie.
Well, you're stronger than I am, man, because I would not be able to sleep for weeks. I've been around that. I know you guys you'll have been around people that have inspired you growing up. I'm sure that you'll have met actors or actresses that you've loved to replicate their careers or achieve what they've achieved. Have you had a specific scenario where you've been like, oh my God, I'm with this person now, and I just can't believe it's happening?
I think that must be when I found out I was in Saturdays. I didn't ever meet her in person, Marcia Martin I'm talking about, but just finding out that I was a part of like one of her projects was insane, because I've been a fan of her for as long as I can remember. So when I got the offer letter in that like I booked the role, I saw her name as like one of the producers, and I started screaming at the top of my lungs. I think I lost my voice actually. So that was definitely a moment for me.
So I'm not too sure about certain actors or actresses that I've looked up to, you know. I would love to work with anybody who's really famous, you know. But what I can say is that Jeremiah Kipp, the director of Slapface, he treated us like equals, and he let us try ideas. We'd be like, hey, how about we try this? And he wasn't like, no. He was like, oh yeah, let's try that. And he would also do this thing where after we would get the take, he's like, great, let's do a safety take. So that just like makes everybody a little bit more calm and relaxed in the scenes, and that's usually the take that we use on film.
Awesome. And just for any child actors that are out there, I know I've just spoken about you guys looking up to actors who more than established their careers, but there's going to be people that are looking up to what you guys have done already. What would you say to young people looking to get into the industry and following your footsteps already?
Okay, I would say to never take no for an answer, because in this industry you're going to get so many no's, because like even like us, we get like 99% of the auditions we receive a no. So you have to have a very like strong withstand for that. You cannot let it get you down, and also to always train, because always go to like acting classes and always try to learn more, because when I was first starting out I thought I knew everything, and I was like, oh no, I'm good, I'm fine. And my mom was like, no, Mirabelle, you can always know more, even if it's like really little things. And so I took her advice, and it has helped me so much. You can never know too much.
just to follow up on that, train for not just a certain genre, because there might be something that is better than you expected, that's in a different genre, and if you have no training in that, then that can be very hard. So just to piggyback on what she said, just it's always good to train no matter what, for anything.
And then just like, what's it been like having to deal with fame at such a young age, and the attention? I'm sure every child actor gets asked this, but yeah, like, how crazy has it been for the gradual exposure you guys have had on such a worldwide big stage?
I think it's so cool that I have like fans in different countries. Like I'll get like DMs like, "Oh, I'm from West Africa and I'm such a big fan of you." Like that's just so cool that people like around the world know my name. And like when I like wake up every morning, I see edits that people have made of me. It fills my heart, and it's so cool.
I like to use my social media for promoting certain things like Black Lives Matter, or about food allergies, because I have food allergies myself, and life-threatening food allergies. So I like to promote stuff about that on my social media, and it is very hard at times, but I like to focus on the good comments rather than the bad comments, because there's always going to be bad comments.
100%.
But I like to focus on the good comments because that's what makes my day.
100%. Well, you both must be very proud of what you've achieved so far. I know your parents will be very proud. And just a massive shout out to August's mum over there. I was sat in work thinking how we're going to do this interview, and she arranged it so well. So really appreciate you guys coming over and meeting me. And yeah, massive respect to you both. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.